Hello, everybody. You know, it has been 40 years, almost to the day, since August 10 to 12 in 1984 in St. Paul, Minnesota, since we had our first national organizing meeting to build a Green Party in the United States. I was one of the 60 participants in that meeting, and I think I'm the only one who's still alive and still active in the Green Party today. So let me offer some perspectives from an old head on what we've accomplished and what we should focus on now. The Green Party is the only party that still survives among several attempts to build a progressive third party in the late 1980s and 1990s. When we began organizing in 1984, we were swimming against the stream. Most progressive activists were going into the Democratic Party with Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Coalition. But after the 1988 presidential election, when the Democrats failed to defeat George H.W. Bush, a number of other third party efforts were initiated. There was the New Party, the 21st Century Party, the Campaign for a New Tomorrow, and the Labor Party. But you know, all those efforts failed. They've disappeared while the Green Party persisted and survives. So that alone is something we should celebrate today as we are on our 40th anniversary. A big reason why the Green Party survived is that we focused on local organizing and running our own candidates for local office. We elected our first Green candidate in 1986 and kept electing more and more into the 1990s. By 1996, the Greens had organized a strong enough grassroots base to put Ralph Nader on the presidential ballots in 23 states. Ralph didn't raise money or campaign actively that year, but he let us use his name for ballot petitioning. And then when he ran active campaign in 2000, we got him on the ballot in 44 states. And that campaign put the Green Party on the national political map. And since then, the Greens have continuously and successfully run and elected local candidates. In fact, we've elected more candidates to public office than any third party on the left since the Socialist Party of the early 20th century. We've had less success in impacting national politics, and the last 8 years have been particularly tough for us between the push of fascistic Donald Trump and the pull of progressive Bernie Sanders into the Democratic Party. But that difficult political climate is now changing. People are disgusted with the miserable choices the two major parties are giving us. 63% of Americans say they want a third major party in the most recent Gallup poll on that question, which is a record high. So how can the Green Party fill this political vacuum? And how can we begin to have a major impact on national politics? I would like to suggest two practical approaches. The first is that we should recommit to building from below until we can run and win with competitive Green candidates for the U.S. House of Representatives. We've had hundreds of Greens in local office and about a dozen in state legislatures. We should now be electing thousands, not just hundreds, in the coming period. Doing that will build our bench of experienced candidates and elected officials and campaign organizers, and that will create the foundation for running competitive Green candidates and electing them to state legislatures and the House of Representatives. The House is where we can have leverage on national policy. Presidential and Senate races in most states are just too big and dominated by big money for us to have much of an impact. But we can have a major impact in our local congressional districts. Congressional campaigns are where we have the opportunity and the capacity to force our local demands into the campaign debate. Where do the candidates stand on Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, cutting military aid to Israel until apartheid occupation and the genocidal war in Gaza ends? Where do they stand on a ranked choice national popular vote for president and proportional representation in Congress? We can make our issues the issues in congressional elections and have a major impact on national politics. So my first suggestion is that Green locals should develop a plan for running and electing local candidates with the goal of building up to running competitive Green candidates and winning seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. The second approach I want to suggest is that we prioritize campaigns for ranked choice voting and proportional representation. The predominant single-member district winner-take-all election system produces the exclusive two-party duopoly under which we suffer. It generates the spoiler problem that produces a two-party system. But we have an answer to the spoiler problem. It's ranked choice voting. We need to flip the script when we are told we are the spoilers and say to our opponents, You are perpetuating the spoiler problem if you don't join us in working for ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting is a reform we are winning. In 2000, we only had it in 2 municipalities. By 2020, we had it in 24 municipalities in 2 states. Today, we have it in over 60 political jurisdictions, and it's on the ballot in 6 states in this year's election. For legislative bodies like city councils, county boards, state legislatures, and Congress, we should be fighting for proportional ranked choice voting in multi-member districts to create proportional representation in those legislative bodies. We are winning this ranked choice form of proportional representation all across the country, from Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon. It's a game-changing transformational reform. It will transform our exclusive 2-party dictatorship into an inclusive multi-party democracy. And with proportional representation, Greens will get their fair share of representation and power in government that reflects our support in the general population. So let's not be demoralized by the miserable choices the 2 major parties are giving us. We've survived 40 years because the Green Party is needed. People keep turning to us because we have real solutions to the crises of climate, healthcare, housing, militarism, the exclusionary 2-party system, and so many other pressing social problems. And real solutions can't wait. Today is a time when masses of people are disgusted with the major parties and open to alternatives if we look viable. Let's be confident that the Green Party policy agenda is what majorities of people will support, and let's be confident that our organizing efforts will demonstrate to masses of people that the Green Party is the credible alternative they are hoping for. Let's get to work.